Hello guys, so in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create a website in Framer. So the first thing that you're going to do is to head over to framer.com and sign up or log in to your account. And then from the dashboard, just click on this new project at the top right corner of the page. So before we get started with the actual tutorial, I'm going to give you a tour of the editor page first, and then let's create a very basic website that we can use. I'm also going to show you several templates where you can access them and how you can use AI with this one. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to see when you head over to the Framer editor is this empty canvas right here. So it's just going to show you a desktop version of the canvas automatically, but if you want to add more variations, you can access it from here. You can click on this plus icon and then click a tablet if you want to add a tablet variation of this page. And then if you also want a phone, we can do that. Or if you want to customize the size of the page, we can also do that by clicking on this custom right here. You can add a new breakpoint by adding a name and the width of the page that you want. Now, let's head over to this bottom menu. This icon, the first icon that you can see is like a mouse, like a cursor. Now, if you click on that, it's going to allow you to select several elements or assets on your canvas or your page. You can just use this to click on certain elements and you can maybe delete them or edit them. The editor of each element you can find at this right side menu, which we are going to discuss later on as we create the website. The next tool is this hand tool, which allows you to drag the page around. You can drag it down or drag it up, drag it left and right as well. Now, this next one is like a bubble. It's like if you click on that, it allows you to add a comment anywhere in the page. So if you want to add maybe on the editing, if you want to add a comment on the editing of a certain element, you can do so by clicking on this one. Next is this moon icon. It allows you to switch between themes. So it allows you to have a dark theme or a day theme, depending on what you prefer. Next one is the plugins. You can search several plugins here that you can install in Framer. Like for example, you want to add a Figma template and you want to copy paste it in Framer, you can do so by downloading it from this plugins tool. Next, if you want to zoom in or zoom out, you can do so by clicking on this icon right here and then click on zoom in, and you can also click on zoom out, or if you want zoom to fit. So it basically just fits all three canvases in your screen. Let's zoom first. Let's click on that. Next, we're going to explore this left side tools. So you can see here the pages, the layers, and the assets. So the assets are basically all of the elements that you're going to use here. You have here the templates, the components, the styles, the vectors, code, everything, even the new ones that you're going to create here. And then here you have the layers. So the first thing you're going to see here are the desktop, tablet, and the phone. So every element that you put in your canvas, it's going to be recorded here. And then you have as well the pages. So we have here the first page, which is the home. You can add several more depending on how in-depth the website you want to be. Next is this icon right here. So you can go to dashboard, you have quick actions from the file, you also have new pages, invite collaborators, and all that stuff. We can also click on edit, view, tools, layouts, and several more. You can also access your site settings from here, and of course the preferences and the plugins. If you click on this plus icon, this is the insert. So basically all of your elements are going to come from here. So these are the basic elements that can help you build your page. This is where the navigation is, the sections, and the menus as well. And then here the CMS, where you can find your collections and fields. And then of course the elements section, where you can find your icons, media, forms, interactives, socials, utility, and creatives. And on this next one is the layout. So you can have a frame, rows, columns, grid, image, and then video. You can add it from there, and you also have the text tool right here where you can add text. So as you can see, if you click on that, it's going to give you this text icon and you can start typing literally anywhere that you want to. And then you also have here several shapes like rectangle, oval, polygon, star, and path. And then this one is your CMS, which again you can also access from the page section. Now let's start building our website. What we first need to actually start our website is of course the navigation. Just hover over this navigation right here, and you can choose between light themes and the dark themes depending on how you want your website to look. So if you want to make your website look darker, you can go with the dark theme, or if you want to make it look light, then you can just go with a light theme. So I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to use this very simple one. If you see something that you prefer, you can just drag it over to your page, wherever you want to place it. But of course, the navigation should always be at the top of the page to make it easier for the audience to see it. And as you can see, as I drag it over to my page, it also applies to the rest of my variations. But for the phone one, of course, it's going to appear as these horizontal lines right here where it opens up when you click on it. Now let's go back to our primary page, which is the desktop one. Let's go to layers. You can see here, it already got added to our navigation. So like I said, all of the elements that you drag over to your canvas is going to be added in your layers as well. So it's clearer, or if you want to edit a certain element, you can definitely just find it at the layer section. Now, if you want to edit this navigation section, let's just zoom in first, and then again select your select tool, or this cursor looking like icon, and then double click on this section. It's going to take you to this page where you can access, or you can edit several features in this. Let's just zoom in a bit so you can see a bit more. So maybe you don't want to have this cover, you can just simply delete it. Gallery, maybe we just want features, templates, and updates, right? So what you're going to do, if you want to change the text a bit, you can just double click on it and change the text. So for example, we want to change it to subscribe here, and then maybe some videos and new updates. Now, if you want to alter these texts a bit more, like I said, you can have a more in-depth editing tool to each element right here at the right-hand side. So you have here the link, positioning, size, effects. The effects are what you use to add some scrolling effects or animations in each element of the page. You can also add overlays, cursor, the styles, if you want it to be visible, transforms, and then here is the text section where you can also change the color, or if you want to maybe change the font, maybe to Inter Sans or Inter Serif, but I do prefer Inter a bit more for this Inter display. Let's use Inter. Again, just click on that, and then you can see here that you have several other things that you can change, like the weight. Maybe if you want to make it bold or italic, you can access it from here. If you want to change the color, just click on this like color palette. You can also, like, if you have a specific color that you want, you can add the numbers right here, and then just drag it to whatever color that you want, and it is going to be looking like that. Now, let us go back to our homepage. As you can see, all of the updates that we did were applied. So this is how it's currently looking like. Now, let's go back to our insert tool, and then let's now add some sections. So let's first add this header, this hero 2 section right here, and let's again drag it over to our page. Let's add a bit more so we can edit it all together later. Let's do this one, and then right here. So when you're creating a page, it doesn't matter what the height is because it's going to adjust according to how many sections you're going to add anyway. So you would notice that when you add another breakpoint as a custom breakpoint, it doesn't ask you what height you want it to be. It only asks you the width because it's not very important. So if you're just confused about that, just remember that it doesn't ask you what the height of the page or the canvas is going to be because it doesn't matter. It adjusts according to how many sections you add. Now let's edit this landing page a bit more. You want to change this a little bit. Let's change it to the name of our channel. Let's do simple and straightforward. As much as possible, it's better if you add an eye-catching, like just very concise words just to describe what you're actually offering. So I added simple and straightforward as to describe all the videos that we create. And then I'm just going to change the text a bit here. I'm going to zoom in once again. And then I'm using this hand tool. And then let's just edit this element right here by clicking on that. If you want to change the corners of each buttons, you can just drag this like, I don't know, it's like a circle with another circle inside of it. You can just drag it, and as you can see here, it changes the corners. If you want to make it a bit more boxy, or if you want to make it a bit more rounded, you can also do so. Now let's just change this to subscribe. Let's change the text to subscribe, and then this other one, let's change it to watch now. You can also change the buttons, the button colors if you want, like this one. Just again, head over to the editor at the right side of the page, and then just on the selection, you can just click on this. And as you can see, the text is changing colors. Now let's change the background of this header to make it more appealing. So if you want to add an image as a background right here, you can access it from the right menu. Just find the fill right here and then click on it. And then you can see here several fill options, like you have a solid color, the linear gradient color, radial gradient, and conic gradient. And then here, the last thing is the image. Now you can choose an image from here. Let's just click on that. And then you can choose from several images that you already have, or maybe you can also like get something from the internet. You can do that. But for this one, let's just use a fill gradient. And then let's just edit this a bit. If you want to change the second color, just click on this. Let's just change the color of this one. So you can do this according to how you want it to look like. Of course, it doesn't matter. I'm just doing it to fit the brand. I'm just going to change this one as well. Again, just double click if you want to change any elements from the navigation. And then let's change the color a bit. Let's change it to something blue. And then let's change the text to white to make it more visible like that. And then let's go back to the home page. Now you can just do the same thing for these elements right here. You can just again click on that to change the text, click on this to change the text, and then click on the whole frame to add an image, or maybe if you want to change the background color. Let's try to apply that on the styles right here. Let's change this to a solid color like this blue maybe. Now you can just apply it to the next sections that you want to edit, like how I showed you to add an image in this box right here. Again, just click on this fill and then this image icon, and then choose an image, and it's going to take you to the file explorer. Maybe if you want to add an animation, let's do that. Maybe we want to add an animation to this hero 2 section. Just click on this effect, and then you can select appear, hover, press, loop, drag, or you want to add a scroll animation. You want to change the scroll speed and then the scroll transform, you can do so. But for this one, let's just change it to hover, and then you can change the settings from here. But let's just try that by clicking on this play or the preview icon right here. As you can see, the moment we hover over this one, it creates an animation for us. It doesn't look very good, so it really depends on you on how you want it to look like. Maybe I'll change that later on. But that's basically all the basics that you have to know: how to change the color, how to add an image, how to get to this Framer editing page, how to add a navigation right here, how to change texts. And yeah, that's basically how you're going to create a website with Framer. Now, if you want to publish this page, just go to publish, and it will automatically publish this site for you.